God, that you place before you, that your Spirit will touch him. But I pray that your Lord allow you to share that message from the inside out, God, that he's prepared for this setting. Lord, allow it to touch our hearts and our lives. And we'll forever give you praise and honor and glory in the name of Christ, your Son, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and I'm glad to be here today. This is my first time preaching at Regionals. It's my third year being here, and I'm really glad to be here. Today we're going to be in Matthew chapter 7. That's going to be where all my reading is going to be. And we're going to go ahead and have a word of prayer, and then I'm going to go ahead and get started. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for everything you've given us, and especially me, Lord. Thank you for all the opportunities that you've given me, and for this opportunity now to preach your word and to give the message that you've given to me. And I pray that you move me aside, Lord, take my nervousness away, Lord. Please just speak through me and say what you would have me to say. And I pray that you help everyone to have a good rest of the time here. And I love you in your name, I pray. Amen. Amen. My title of the message is going to be Two Decisions with Two Consequences. Everybody in life has two decisions they can make. The first decision being the straight and narrow. In Matthew chapter 7, verse 14, it says, "Because straight is the gate and narrow is the way, which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it." The first decision we can make is straight and narrow, which leadeth unto life. And obviously this is God's path and the way He would have you to go. And it says, sadly though, it says in the bottom part of verse 14, "And few there be that find it." And it's up to us to decide whether or not we're going to take the straight and narrow or go off on some other course. Like what's your name?
Pastor Greg Roberts.
Like Pastor Greg was saying, how his daughter's 19 and a half, and she has her disease or sickness. And if people would have gone off their path, that he would have had to bury his daughter. And so thanks to people that stayed on their course, stayed on their path, there's someone that's there to help and help them with their situation. And there's always two paths, and you have to choose between the two. And the second path is the wide and broad path, which is the way of the devil and the way of the world. It says in verse 13, it says, "Enter ye in at the straight gate. For wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat." And this is a sad verse at the end. It says, "Many there be which go in thereat." And it's also our choice whether or not to go into the straight and narrow, go into the wide and the broad. And God has privileged us very much to give us the decision. And whether or not we choose to do what's right, that's our fault or our blessing. And He gives us blessings and curses if we don't listen or if we listen. And the consequence to the wide and the broad path is destruction. It says in the end part of verse 13, that leadeth to destruction. And had the people that helped his daughter not taken the straight and narrow path which leadeth to life and has given his daughter life, then if they had taken the wide and broad, it would have led to destruction. And so we're just thankful for people that take the straight and narrow. We should be sad and sorrowful and pray for those that have taken the wide and broad. And one thing we can always remember, that even if you have taken the wide and the broad, there's always a way to get back on the straight and narrow. And as long as it may take trials, it may take someone very close to you passing away. And I think that's what did it for me. I'm just going to share this really quick. I think it's almost been 2 years since my grandfather passed away. And before then, I was debating, I was scared to talk about it. I was debating on whether or not God wanted me to be a preacher boy, and whether He wanted me to go into full-time ministry. When I was younger, I wanted to go in the Army because that's what my parents did, and it was just cool. Like every little boy thinks the military is cool. It's fun to go out in the woods and play Army with your friends. And but anyways, after my grandpa died, we went to camp, and the preachers preached wonderful messages. And after camp, I was just so convicted. Like every time someone preached on the will of God or what He would have you do, I always was, always preaching came to my mind. And finally, I have it written down back here, I believe, in last year in 2012, on March, April, May, June, on August 26th, I surrendered my life to preach, and ever since the day I did it, I felt so relieved. I was happy, and I just enjoy preaching. I've preached only a handful of times, but it's just so wonderful to preach what God has put in your heart. And I enjoy going around to different places. We do a nursing home with our school, and then we have a church that our church is filling in for because their pastor retired. And we have an RV park that we go to, and it's just so fun to preach. And I just hope that I have the strength and wisdom to stay on the straight and narrow path and not get off on the wide and broad. And that is my message for today, and we're going to go ahead and close with prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for everything that you have given us, Lord. I thank you for the options that you have given us, Lord, to take the straight and narrow or the wide and broad, Lord. And I thank you for all the people that have taken the straight and narrow. And I pray that you be with those that are not on the straight and narrow and are on the wide and broad right at this moment, Lord. I pray that you convict them and get on their heart, Lord. And I pray that you help them to come back to you, Lord. And I pray that you just help everyone have a good time. Please be with those that are following up after me and help them to preach their messages as you would have them to. And I love you in your name I pray. Amen.
Amen.